On this episode, we'll be discussing a very controversial topic, if I must say myself: love and sex. Welcome back, viewers. Hope you're happy. Hope you're pumped. It's a new year. We're excited. Of course, this is the show where we're about enriching your mind. Hopefully, we can do something this year, to change their minds, their lives, and all of that. I know you have an interesting story to share. I'm particularly excited because I've been thinking, what does this topic have to do in a spiritual book like this? But again, we like to say that the author is a scientific, saint. So there are no boundaries. Anyway, guys, on this episode, we'll be discussing a very controversial topic, if I must say myself: love and sex.
Okay. So I think we have to first understand that a lot of saints in India generally run away from this topic. But our master Sri Guru Vishwaspurti is a scientific saint, and he wants to give a manual which any person on this planet can implement in his or her life and grow. So master is a firm believer over mastery over the senses, transformation of mind. But he has also addressed this topic because this is also a very important part of the life. Now, I remember a story when I was 21. So I was also into meditation and all the spiritual practices. And at the age of 21, which is probably 2001, many years before, Master gave a topic to me to discuss. And exactly this is the topic. He said, okay, why is sex education important? And he gave me this topic and he gave the other person. He says, okay, now you have a kind of debate. And when I debated, Master at that time was very satisfied. And he said, I thought you will have some doubts, you will have hesitation. But he said, I'm very happy that you discussed this topic in a very nice manner. So imagine 24 years back, the master did one activity which has a link to this topic after so many years.
And so now you're
yes. So it's a kind of flashback for me that why did he do that activity? Why did he choose that topic? It had no relation for me for 5-6 years to go all together, or even 10 years.
Okay.
Yes.
I think this leads to the obvious question. I mean, before I get into the text, why is it that a lot of spiritual leaders, not even spiritual, a lot of people shy away from this topic? It's like they anything but not addressing the actual topic. Why do you think people shy away? Why do you think people would rather not talk about this?
See, there are various levels of people who go towards the divinity. So the way is control over your senses, and then the master of the senses is the mind, which is sensorium. So when you are able to control the dissipation, the wastage of energy in terms of thoughts, in terms of distraction, then that energy is the energy which transforms into spiritual enlightenment. So for practitioners who are going, they generally try to contract themselves. Now how they contract themselves, a very famous example is a tortoise. So when you try to touch a tortoise, it withdraws all its limbs inside. So this is how in spirituality people do. They withdraw their distractions. Some people may go to Himalayas, some people may go to forest, some people may go to cave, away from distraction. But even when you go away from distraction, still you may carry the impressions in the mind. So they try to give less and less food. Food means food in the terms of distraction. So the mind becomes powerful, and then they channelize those energy to the God, and that converts into spiritual enlightenment. Okay, so, so there are two stages.
I can actually go further, but
Yes.
let's just go straight into the book, because I was gonna ask. So are we saying?
So let me
it's a
say one
distraction?
more point on this because it's a very good topic. So one more point is, so there are two levels of practitioners. So imagine if I don't give the food for distraction, then what will happen? Slowly the taste will subside. But the taste that the senses can recognize, the mind can recognize, remains there even after a lot of discipline. Okay? But this taste will go away. Are you getting my point? This taste will go away on spiritual realization, which means when you can see clearly or vision of the God, the Paramatma, or the final thing in the universe, that taste goes away and that person gets a enlightenment, a high intensity of bliss and happiness, that finally he will be away from the distraction. So even if you expose him to distraction, he will have no effect because he knows the ultimate happiness. So master is at that level. But why is he writing this? He is writing because he needs to show the society a way, and because of humanity he has written, as it is a very important part in the game of life and for our planet Earth.
Let's go straight into. Let's see what he says. It says, no love with body, only liking. No liking with mind, only love.
So this, I think, has been a repetitive theme when we have seen also that love is very important, and love is the the important material with which you connect from one person to other. Love is the base for humanity. So love is the principle and humanity is the practical factor. So that's why he says, no liking with mind, but only love which is genuine connection. And no love with body, only liking. What does it mean? Sometimes we understand love as only physical pleasure. We see people from physical perspective. We don't see them from a spiritual perspective. We don't see the beauty of a person from spiritual perspective and mental perspective. So this is why he is writing that no love with body, only liking, but no liking with mind, only love. So love is the factor which connects one person with the other.
Like the love of compassion, but never be allowed the flaws of the sensorium self.
So this exactly is, what he is saying is, bring a discipline and be driven by love, but don't be driven by the senses and its attachment of physical attractions.
I want to go back to the first line,
Yes.
right? Because I feel like that needs to be explored, because that's where the confusion is most of the time. He says no love with body, only liking. No liking with mind, only love. Does that mean that people often have it the other way round? What I'm trying to say is, typically when you meet somebody, is the master trying to say that the first thing you have to think about is genuine love. Even with strangers, even with people you don't know, especially when your senses are telling you the opposite. How do you then bring your mind back to say, okay, genuine love is what I have to have for this person, and it doesn't have to do with their physical attributes?
See, master is of that elevated mindset, and we all need to go there, is where you love everyone unconditionally. It's not about genuine. Genuinely you love the cleaner. Genuinely you love the gate man. Genuinely you love a stranger. For no reason. You love because you love yourself, and what you are in reality, he or she is also the same. So if there is a help required, be earnest in helping. Don't try to condition your mind with any other factor. So a person who sees a person or objectifies a person, okay, he has this component, has already lost the game. He is not following the love. He is following the mind which is drawn towards the senses.
It says the labor monde. Is this French?
Yes, it's French. He has written many French words.
The fashionable world is an erotic, erratic, narcotic, and the enticed entertainment. It erodes the marrow of the morality and the vitality of the veracity. Now, it seems to be a Mamorish march. What's going on?
So first of all, he has written the divine thing in a poetic form. And now he is into a fashionable world. So he has written that language is fashionable, is poetic. Lebeo Monde, which is a fashion-driven, glamorous lifestyle. So this glamorous is not is far from the reality. And what he says is it erodes the marrow of the morality. Marrow means it's a bone marrow like a thing. So the essence of truthfulness, authenticity is lost in the show. You did so much of makeup. Makeup doesn't mean only the physical makeup. But imagine you don't like the person but you smile and you must have seen some industries where smile is given. It can be hospitality or but the real smile is lost in the game. So what he is saying is when you go into this fashionable thing, it has a lot of strain on the senses, erotic, erratic, narcotic, and all this enticement and entertainment is not good for the mind and for your personal growth, because in this all artificial lifestyle one may lose the real you. So this is why he is right. And then he writes very poetically that it seems to be a Mamorish march. Means we can walk down here, we have tiles, but we have a marsh kind of place where walking is very difficult, it's very dirty, way is not clear. When you walk, you don't have a free flow of walk. So he says this lifestyle, this road is not the right road to go.
I think that it links, to the first line and also to the topic, because whether we like it or not, the world is becoming more erotic. Like with the way people dress, different cultures, with what you see on TV. I think that is just a reminder to say, yes, the world is going this way, but you always have to capture yourself to say, okay, I'm going to remain, spiritual. I'm going to focus on what is right. And even if people may look different, maybe in the way they dress, in things they talk about, we can still love them unconditionally.
Yes. See, but what happens is, why does a person tries to become a center of attraction? Because he or she feels that they have nothing inside which people can connect. The loving aspect, the emotional aspect, the beautiful intellectual aspect, there's nothing. It has nothing to do with the amount of education a person has taken. A person may be illiterate, but may be very loving and connecting. He or she may be selling fruits and vegetables on the ground. People would like to talk to her, engage in a discussion. How are you doing? Because the inside love is there. And that's why people connect with him or her. But a person feels no, he watches a movie or he watches a YouTube and he feels, wow, this is... So that YouTube, the plastic world, sometimes gives guidance to the youth, which is a hollow marketing thing. It is not real. And finally you may get a news of that supermodel or that movie star who committed a suicide at the end. Why? What happened? YouTube shows he or she was smiling, very fashionable, showing off, okay, the body or clothes or whatever. But that Mamorish path, the path is not great. The excitement, the narcotic aspect, you are hooked to that enticement and finally it breaks you apart.
Okay, it says a beast is the best of the human beast of lust.
This is, I think, very clear that, the beast is the best of the human beast of lust. So most primal or raw expression of human lust, you can match it to an animal lust also. A beast, the lust of an animal and a lust of a human you can match it. Both are raw in their own. So this is also a fact that we are also part of the animal world. Sometimes humans feel we are very different.
Don't be hate, be a mate, and proximately.
So don't be hate means have your behavior which does not give opportunities for people to hate. Instead be a friendly nature, and proximately means try helping on the way if there is an opportunity. So nurturing close you can say, or supportive actions. Like you have two friends on the school and one lost her rubber and you said, okay, why don't you take my eraser and use it? Your proximity. She may need to ask otherwise the other students. You shared, okay, this is the friendship, this is the support. A small push, not going out of the line, but a small push, okay. Let's achieve together.
The love of the law of morality, of which is beyond the mortality, it loses nothing as it does possesses the passive positiveness.
So this is very important. This is writing from a divine standard, that the law of morality, the ethics, the ethical culture that you nurture is beyond the mortality. So this can be interpreted like a person can do PhD on this line. Because what do you mean by beyond mortality? Beyond mortality means even after death that will survive. What is that which survives after death? So it's only the divine element, the God, which is unchangeable. Rest, everything is changeable. And what is that language with which you understand the divine? What is that which takes you to the part of extension? So it's not the senses way, it's not the sensorium way, it's the love with which you can connect not only to human but also to nature and the whole universe.
Sex is nature's need. Epicure is human made.
Sex is nature means every animal world, human world, it's a fundamental biological necessity to produce children and to grow. Epicure is a human made system of thought that emphasizes on lavishness, show. So what he says is epicure is human made. Imagine one person is engaging in sex to produce children. Is a valid thing to do. It has trust, it has a bonding, it has a purpose. But all other kind of imaginations are only human made and complex.
Beware of the cupidity as it bears to.
So what he is saying is intense desire or greed in a relationship has a stupidity element in it. You want to exploit someone has a weakness and it gets exploited by someone. Exploiting, getting exploited, intense desire of greed, it spoils the relationship. It spoils the fabric of any relationship. The fabric of relationship should be based on unconditional love. So two persons coming together should have a reason of connectedness, genuinity, love, understanding of each other, and that will bring a beautiful society which will reduce the criminality aspect. What happens is when you go into the complex mode of greed and trying to exploit in a relationship. So what is exploitation? Exploitation has a very big variations. Exploitation can cause death also. Exploitation can cause many criminal activities like rape also. So what is that? So he is saying develop a deep understanding that don't engage in these stupid ways, engage in a genuine relationship and understand the forces of nature.
I think that's why a lot of religious books or even spiritual persons will emphasize on loving yourself first. Loving yourself, understand what that looks like, and then extending that love to others. So you love them like you love yourself. So if I typically would not steal from myself, if I wouldn't cause harm to myself, if I love you like that, then I would not do the same. So typically, I guess that's why
Bravo.
emphasis on love.
Very nice.
Madame's freedom broods random results. Grooms and brooms into drastic destiny. I I have no idea what that
So
means.
this is more of a poetic, where he is telling about unrestricted freedom and independence in romanticism is not a good thing, he's saying. Connect in a way so that you face the challenges together in life. Understand each other. This is where he is saying. Don't go into a...
It's like a lot of this is wonderful, right? But I keep bringing it back to today's word today because of how everything is moving fast, instant gratification. There's so many things pulling your mind. It is almost impossible to stay truly connected, even for married folks, even for colleagues. Like, it is almost because there's so many things getting your attention.
Correct.
How then do we fill up the gap?
So first is there is a information overload.
Yes,
That is the truth.
definitely.
When you go to YouTube, somebody is enticing you. When you go to Facebook, somebody is enticing you, which you really don't need. So the whole game is about establishing the principles and ethical framework for ourselves.
I like that, and I think you've touched on that maybe in our private conversations or with the show. I can't remember, but I think you've touched on setting habits, setting activities, and being present in those activities. For instance, I said I've been trying. I hope I've noticed that there are certain activities that have sort of merged together. It's like when I have dinner, any sort of food, I have to be on my phone. Which you said, actually put the phone down and be in the present, like the moment of eating your food, enjoying your food. So like if we can just separate.
Yes.
It
has happened in washrooms also. People
people take their phones to
YouTube,
the washroom and then
Facebook.
you're on YouTube, and it has become our lifestyle where we feel like, no, I'm going to the washroom. Some people will actually run back to pick up their phones and go back. So if we can just take out the distractions and actually focus in the moment, I feel like people in the 90s, the early 2000s, when we did not have the internet, I feel like they had a rich life.
Correct. They had more peaceful life.
A rich life, because you could be in the moment of whatever you're doing and actually enjoy it.
Yes.
So I think if we take away the distractions, the other activities, we can actually get towards being connected.
Correct.